It's Moonstone Monday, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favourite miniatures, Eric the Enlightened. We'll unbox the miniature, get him completely assembled so you can have a good look at the details, and then work through the character card so you can have a look at all the abilities he brings to the table. And later on, I'll show you an awesome narrative that you can download for free to catch up on his story. Let's get started then, and this is going to be an awesome miniature to add to the starter set. So if you've seen that video I did previously, it's got the Leschevault fawns in there, and this is going to be a Leschevault character that you can add to it. And I think this is going to be a real nice complement to the troop, and it will be great going opposite the models such as Echo of the Forgotten King that I unboxed last week. So you can see we're going to get one miniature in this one. It's high quality resin, so expect some super crisp details, but let's get it open and we'll have a real good look at everything that's included. So when you get a big character like this, you'll usually get one big chunky piece of foam and a few filler pieces here to help protect it. When you get some of the smaller ones that aren't as bulky, you might get two of the foam pieces sandwiched together. But in this case, just one, so we'll get that out of the way. And here you can see we're going to get the character in bubble wrap, the base, and the card. Let's have a look at Eric the Enlightened miniature first. We'll look at the sprues before I put this together and show you it fully assembled. So we're going to get two sprues, and in this case there's going to be 6 different parts that we're going to put together, and you can see just how crisp this casting is. It's so well done, and not an awful lot to tidy up on this model. There's a couple of pieces from the mold that we had to just work down with the scalpel blade, and if you're interested in knowing how to prepare your resin models for painting, check out that video I did last week on the Echo of the Forgotten King, and then you can check out the process that I use for preparing my resin models, from snipping them off the sprue, trimming them up, and cleaning them prior to painting. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. Some really nice parts here though on the sprue. You can see that shield is awesome, and then we've got those big chunky antlers which are going to look fantastic. And we've got a 40mm base, and to know which base to use for your miniatures, you'll take a look at the character card, and in the bottom right hand corner it tells you the size to use. This is a big model, so it's going to go over the base slightly. But as you can see here, now he's fully assembled, and that's not a problem at all. You've just got one of the front hooves, one of the back, just slightly over. And then you can also glue those to the rim of the base as well, just for some extra stability. But what a stunning model. This is going to look awesome when it's painted up and amongst the fawns. I love these big characters that Moonstone uses. I will say when you're preparing this, so just make sure you get those hooves dead flat so that you get a nice bond to the base, and it also stands upright really straight. Other than that though, this went together really nicely. Okay, that's the model. Now let's have a look at Eric the Enlightened character card. So you can see here that we've got the card with all the details on. This is going to give him all the stats. It's got his name at the top and then the keywords. So we're looking at human, animal, and cultist. On the top right hand side, you see we've got the faction symbol there for Leschevault. This tells you which faction you can use the model in. And as we saw earlier, at the bottom right hand corner is the size of the base. You can see we've got a melee stat of 4. It's a 2-inch range to attack. That's always nice in Moonstone. Arcane is 3, and an evade is +1. Then we've got our passive abilities, and there's 3 here. The first one is called Enchanted Javelin, and if this character deals piercing melee damage, increase the damage dealt by +2. That's awesome, and whenever this character deals any piercing damage, it may deal the same amount of magical damage instead. That's a pretty good feature to have on this. And then we've also got Woodland Animal, another passive ability. It tells us this character may jog over wooded patches and gains +1 energy during the replenish step if any part of its base is within a wooded patch. That's going to come in really handy for Eric, as you see that he loses 1 of his energy quite soon, as we'll have a look at later on. Next, we've got Leschevault's shield, and if this character would suffer damage, you may reduce that damage to no damage at all, and you can only do that once per game though, and once you've done that once per game, you'll just mark on the card here with that circle to note that that has been completed. Now we're on to the arcane ability, and that's called Enchanted Blade Storm. This is going to be 2 energy and a range of 6 inches. And we're told this attack is not modified by evade stat or cover, and may only be used if this model has the Enchanted Javelin ability. We're looking for a green here, any number, and then the target will suffer the X plus 1 piercing damage. After resolving this action, this model loses Enchanted Javelin until end of turn. So we'll go back up to that passive ability we saw earlier. You can also choose pink, any number. This character may discard 2 energy. If it does, all other models within 4 inches suffer X plus 1 piercing damage, then they're moved X inches directly away. Then, after resolving this action, this model loses Enchanted Javelin until the end of the game, and we'll just tick that off once we've done it. There's a catastrophe as always. If this character has the Enchanted Javelin ability, the target gains it, and this model loses it, but both until end of turn. Next up, you can see altogether there's 10 hearts. Going to lose 1 after 3 damage, and then the other 2 are pretty far down the other end. So using that replenish is going to be really handy to keep Eric topped up and in the game. Alright, we've also got a signature move, which is on a sweeping cut. So let's turn the card over and we'll have a look at that signature move. In this case, it's called Swinging Antlers, and this is an upgrade for that sweeping cut. The damage type now is going to be impact. And you can see here the high guard is going to be no damage if the opponent plays that. Low guard 1, but if a falling swing is played, there's 3 damage. Thrust, look at that, that's got the yellow highlight, so that's going to be really helpful. Sweeping cut 1, rising attack is going to be 2. Really interesting there for the swinging antlers. And then we've got an end step effect where we move the enemy model 1 inch away. So with a 2-inch range, and you can move the enemy model 1 inch, that's going to come in really handy. So there we go, that's Eric the Enlightened, one of my favourite models from the Moonstone collection. It looks awesome, I cannot wait to get it painted, and now we've seen the model and the card, it's time to learn a little bit more about the fate of Eric. So if you head over to the Moonstone website, I'll put a link in the description below and the comments, and you can also find it on their link tree, and this is going to take you to this free PDF to download. It's going to give some really great background story for Eric and exactly what's happened to him to get him to this stage. Really fun. And then you've also got a fantastic piece of artwork. Maybe use this as your reference when you paint him up. And you can see the stat card ahead of buying him with a standee as well that you could use just to try him out in the game. It's going to be interesting to see how Eric the Enlightened fares against some of the big characters like Echo of the Forgotten King from the new Shades faction, and also it's going to be fun to put him together with those models, including Jada from the starter set, and I'm also looking at maybe going with Gump and some of those tree folk. If you're interested in finding out more about that starter set, I've done a full unboxing video and I've been painting the characters from it, including Jada in a full painting step-by-step video. We've also had a look at the Jackalope, what an awesome model this one is too, and then we've done some of the other ones like Greymare, gone through a bit of colour theory, how to use minimal paints to get lots of different colours, and I've also painted some of the bigger models too. If you like unboxings, I've got you covered with the Boris, the Bunny Summoner, the Shady Bunch box set, and some more painting videos too, with some of the other factions including fairies, and one of my favourite models, Dim and Dim. I had such a great time getting this one ready for the table. We've also done more unboxings with Rebold the Troll, and the Goblin Airship, and lots more. They're all available on the channel. And if that's not enough, there's a full how to play Moonstone video available too, with some other videos to support your gameplay. I'd love to hear what you think about Eric the Enlightened, so let me know in the comments section down below, and look out for loads more Moonstone videos to come over the next few months. Thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it, hope it was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.